Have you ever met someone who completely changed the way you see the world? He did, on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. She was younger, full of light and questions, chasing dreams with fierce determination. He was older, steady, seasoned by time, experience, and quiet strength. At first, he thought he knew what she wanted. A charming compliment here, a clever joke there, a romantic gesture, a grand impression. But something didn't quite land. She smiled. Yes, but there was something missing in her eyes. She laughed, but the laughter didn't linger. Then one evening, something changed. He didn't try to impress, he just listened. Really listened. And in that quiet space, she opened up. And he finally saw her, not just the youth and beauty, but the depth. That's when he realized. Younger women don't crave flattery or showmanship. They crave understanding, respect, connection. But here's the truth. So many older men miss this. They focus on what they think she wants to hear, not on what she needs to feel. At Elderly Life, we believe in something deeper. Timeless wisdom, emotional intelligence, the power of presence. This isn't about tricks, games, or surface-level attraction. It's about becoming a man of substance, a man who can speak to the soul, not just the ego. So if you've ever asked yourself, what does she really want to hear from me? You're in the right place. Let's explore the 5 things younger women secretly crave to hear from older men, and how you can speak with confidence, clarity, and heart. Let's begin. Number 1. I value your perspective. They were sitting across from each other in a quiet cafe, the kind of place where the world slows down just enough for real conversations to happen. She was sharing something personal, a story about a challenge at work. Her ideas kept getting ignored, dismissed as too idealistic or not experienced enough. And she was tired. Tired of pretending it didn't bother her. Tired of being talked over. He didn't interrupt. He didn't try to fix it. He just listened. And then when she finished, he looked at her and said softly, I value your perspective. She didn't expect it. But those 5 words struck her deeper than any compliment ever could. Because in that moment, she felt something rare. Respected. You see, younger women are often in a season of becoming, building careers, exploring identity, figuring out their place in the world. But the world doesn't always listen. Their voices are often underestimated, overlooked, or filtered through the lens of age. When you tell her, I value your perspective, you do more than offer praise. You affirm her worth. You tell her, I see you. I hear you. You matter. From a psychological standpoint, this taps into one of our most basic needs, the need for recognition. When a woman feels her voice matters to you, trust begins to grow. Emotional intimacy takes root. And through the lens of Stoic philosophy, this is humility in its purest form. The Stoics believed wisdom starts with listening, that we must never assume we know it all, that every person, regardless of age, can teach us something valuable. So the next time she shares something meaningful, don't just nod along. Engage. Ask questions. Be present. And when the moment feels right, say it. Not as a line, not as a performance, but as a truth you believe. I value your perspective. Because when she feels seen, heard, and respected, the bond between you doesn't just deepen, it transforms. Number 2. I admire your ambition. She stayed up late again, laptop open, eyes focused, heart full of quiet determination. She wasn't doing it for recognition. She wasn't chasing applause. She was chasing something personal, something bigger. He noticed. The long hours, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about her dreams, the quiet frustration when things didn't go as planned. And instead of offering advice or pointing out the risks, he simply looked at her and said, I admire your ambition. She paused. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. Like he meant it. Like he believed in her, even when she doubted herself. Younger women often carry the weight of proving themselves, to bosses, to peers, sometimes to their own families. They work twice as hard to be taken seriously. They battle the noise of doubt, comparison, and pressure every single day. So when an older man, someone with more life behind him, says, I see your effort. I believe in your drive. I admire your ambition. It doesn't just boost her confidence, it validates her journey. Psychologically, it taps into her need for encouragement, to be reminded that her work, her grit, her goals, they're not invisible, that someone sees her not just as she is, but as who she's becoming. Through the eyes of Stoic wisdom, Admiring ambition is a recognition of virtue. The Stoics believed greatness comes through effort, resilience, and the courage to face hardship. When you acknowledge her ambition, you're honoring her courage to strive for more, even when it's uncomfortable or uncertain. So pay attention to what drives her. Ask about her goals, her vision, her challenges. And when the moment is real, say it, not to flatter, but to affirm. I admire your ambition. Because when she knows you respect her fire, you don't just inspire her to keep going, you become part of her journey. Number 3, I appreciate your energy. He used to think it was just youth. The way she laughed without holding back, the way she danced in the kitchen with no music playing, the way she lit up over the smallest things, a dog on the street, a sunset, the smell of fresh coffee. But over time, he realized it wasn't just her age, it was her energy, her spirit. And one evening, after a long walk and 1,000 small laughs, he turned to her and said, I appreciate your energy. She looked at him, surprised. Not because she didn't think he noticed, but because no one had ever said it. Not like that. You see, in a world that's always rushing, always pushing toward the next milestone, her joy was a form of rebellion. Her presence wasn't just refreshing, it was healing. Younger women often bring a kind of vibrant energy that's easy to take for granted. It's more than just enthusiasm, it's a way of being. They remind us of what it means to be fully alive, to feel deeply, to hope endlessly. But here's the truth, that energy isn't limitless. It gets drained by judgment, pressure, and the weight of expectations. And too often, instead of being appreciated, it's dismissed as naive or too much. That's where your words matter. When you say, I appreciate your energy, you're telling her that you see her. Not just her actions, but the light behind them. The light that brightens your world. From a psychological perspective, this speaks directly to the need for affirmation. It tells her that her presence has impact, that her way of moving through the world makes a difference in yours. And from a Stoic lens, this is gratitude in action. The Stoics taught that we should recognize and cherish the present moment, that joy is not weakness, it's clarity. To be able to appreciate someone's energy is to live in mindful awareness of their influence on your spirit. Imagine her telling you about a random idea, or pulling you outside just to feel the sun on your face. Most people would brush it off, but you stop, you smile, and you say it clearly. I appreciate your energy. Be specific. I love how you make everyday moments feel special. Or your excitement is contagious. I needed that today. Because when you show her that her energy is valued, you're giving her permission to be fully herself. To stop dimming her light to fit in. To keep glowing. In return, you're not just witnessing joy, you're invited into it. And that is the kind of connection that doesn't fade. Number 4. I respect your independence. She always walked a little faster when she talked about her dreams. There was a kind of fire in her voice, whether she was planning her next solo trip, launching a new idea, or simply choosing how to spend her Sunday morning. She knew who she was becoming, even if the world hadn't fully caught up yet. And while many tried to guide her, shape her, or hold her back, he chose something different. He looked her in the eye and said, I respect your independence. It stopped her in her tracks. Not because she hadn't heard supportive words before, but because this one was rare and real. Younger women often live in a world that constantly tries to define them. They're told what they should want, how they should behave, when they should settle down, and who they should become. And yet, they push forward, carving out lives on their own terms. But in relationships, especially where there's an age difference, independence can feel threatened. Well-meaning advice turns into control, protection turns into limitation, and admiration turns into quiet resistance. That's why your words hold so much power. When you say, I respect your independence, you're telling her, I trust you. I honor your freedom. I'm not here to change you. I'm here to walk beside you. From a psychological perspective, this taps into a core human need, autonomy. The feeling that we are free to make choices, follow passions, and live authentically without needing permission. And from the Stoic point of view, it's the embodiment of self-control and respect. As Epictetus taught, freedom comes not from controlling others, but from letting go of the need to control. By respecting her independence, you are practicing that wisdom. You're creating space for mutual growth rather than dominance. It might look like supporting her decision to travel alone, cheering her on when she takes a risk, or simply stepping back when she needs space to think, feel, or grow. It's in the little things, not asking for constant reassurance, not needing to be the center of her universe, not measuring love by control, but by trust. And when you speak the words, clearly, sincerely, "I respect your independence," you give her more than freedom. You give her the confidence that her path is valid, that her strength is acknowledged, that her choices are hers to make, and that you're proud of her for making them. Because when two people can stand beside each other, whole, free, and still choosing one another, that's when love becomes something unshakable. Number 5. I'm here for you no matter what. She was quiet that night, the kind of quiet that says more than words ever could. Her eyes, usually full of spark, seemed distant, like she was carrying a weight no one else could see. He didn't press. He didn't try to fix it. He just stayed close, letting the silence be safe. And when she finally exhaled and shared her fears, her doubts, her exhaustion, the things she'd been holding in, he didn't offer solutions. He simply said, "I'm here for you, no matter what." And in that moment, she didn't need answers. She just needed him. Younger women often carry silent burdens. They're balancing careers, identity, relationships, and expectations, often while pretending to have it all together. It can feel like they're standing on a moving train, trying to look graceful while staying steady. What they crave most in those moments isn't advice. It's presence. Reassurance that they don't have to carry it all alone, that someone is in their corner, even when life gets messy. Saying, "I'm here for you no matter what," gives her a place to land, a space to fall apart if she needs to. A promise that your support isn't conditional on her success, her mood, or how easy she is to love that day. From a psychological perspective, this taps into the core need for emotional security. The safety of knowing that someone will show up, not just in bright, easy moments, but in the hard, silent ones too. And through the lens of Stoic philosophy, it reflects loyalty and resilience. True strength, the Stoics believed, is shown in how we show up for others when life is unpredictable. When we don't run from discomfort, but lean into it with calm and courage. Being there for her doesn't mean solving every problem. It means being consistent, being steady, holding her hand without needing to lead, letting her cry without rushing her smile. So say it, and more importantly, show it. I'm here for you, no matter what. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can offer isn't the right words. It's simply not leaving. Number 6. You make me a better man. It wasn't something he planned to say. It just slipped out one evening after a quiet conversation, the kind where laughter and vulnerability mingled effortlessly. She had challenged him, gently, honestly, not to win an argument, but to understand him better. And in doing so, she helped him understand himself. He looked at her, really looked at her, and said, "You make me a better man." She blinked, not because she doubted it, but because no one had ever admitted that to her so openly. Not without pride, not with an agenda, just truth. Younger women often bring fresh perspective, emotional honesty, and a kind of intuitive wisdom that goes unspoken. They ask questions others avoid. They notice what others miss. And without trying to, they hold up a mirror. Most older men are used to leading, teaching, guiding, but in the presence of someone who sees the world differently, more openly, more curiously, they often find themselves growing in unexpected ways. When you tell her, "You make me a better man," you're not giving away power. You're honoring the way she helps you evolve. From a psychological view, this speaks to growth through relationship. The idea that our best selves emerge not in isolation, but through connection. And when a woman knows she's not just appreciated, but influential in your growth, her sense of purpose deepens. From a Stoic perspective, it reflects the pursuit of virtue. The Stoics believed that we should always strive to improve, to refine our character, to grow wiser and more grounded. Recognizing someone who contributes to that journey isn't weakness, it's wisdom. So don't be afraid to say it. Not just when things are perfect, but especially when she helps you face something uncomfortable. When she calls you out with love. When she reminds you of your integrity. When she challenges you to be more patient, more open, more kind, you make me a better man. It's not just praise, it's gratitude. And when spoken from the heart, it tells her she's not just part of your life, she's part of your becoming. Number 7. I feel at peace when I'm with you. It wasn't during a candlelit dinner or some grand romantic gesture. It was on an ordinary afternoon, grocery bags in the back seat, music low, windows down. She was talking about something random, laughing at her own joke, and he just felt it. That sense of calm. That feeling that the world for once didn't need fixing. That being with her was enough. He turned to her, smiled, and said, I feel at peace when I'm with you. And in that small moment, her entire expression softened. Because while people often compliment her looks, her passion, her ideas, rarely does anyone thank her for the peace she brings. Younger women are often seen as energy, ambition, movement, but what many miss is the quiet strength beneath all that. The emotional grounding they can offer. The safe space they unknowingly create when they're fully themselves. To hear, "You make me feel at peace," tells her that she brings more than excitement to your life. She brings balance. Stability. A softness the world sometimes forgets to offer. Psychologically, it speaks to one of the deepest needs in any relationship: emotional safety. When someone makes you feel calm, grounded, and accepted, it creates a bond far stronger than adrenaline or passion ever could. And from a Stoic lens, it touches the very heart of inner stillness. The Stoics believed peace didn't come from escaping the world, but from embracing it with clarity and emotional control. When you find someone who helps you access that peace, not by changing who you are, but by simply being with you, that's a gift. So tell her, not just when things are hard, but when they're easy. In the middle of errands, over coffee, while folding laundry. Because peace isn't always found in silence. Sometimes it's found in shared laughter, in quiet glances, in feeling fully accepted. I feel at peace when I'm with you. Because when she knows that her presence doesn't just excite you, but soothes you, she understands her impact on a deeper level. And that's where true connection lives. Not just in passion, but in peace. Conclusion. Connection begins with understanding. She doesn't need you to be perfect. She doesn't need rehearsed lines or constant praise. What she truly longs for is to feel understood. Not just heard, but deeply, intentionally understood. Every phrase you've learned, "I value your perspective," "I admire your ambition," "I appreciate your energy," they're not just compliments. They're doors. Doors that open to trust, safety, and emotional closeness. Because in the end, it's not about age. It's not about experience. It's about presence. About showing up with sincerity. About seeing her, not as someone to fix, impress, or guide, but as someone to know. When you speak with self-awareness, with emotional intelligence, with gentleness and strength, she feels it. She leans into it. She lets you in. That's where connection lives, in the everyday moments, in the quiet validations, in the courage to be real. And the truth is, these aren't just words for her. They're a path for you. To become a man who leads not with control, but with calm. Not with ego, but with empathy. Not with noise, but with depth. So whether you're in love, just beginning, or simply trying to understand the women in your life more deeply, remember this. Real connection isn't built on the grand. It's built on the genuine. And it always begins with understanding.